everything that the Aboriginals went through, we're survivors. One time I went to the hospital, I was feeling pretty sick. And then the nurse at the triage asked me, "So what do you do? Do you shoot up? Do you snort?" And then I was like so blown away by that, and I was just like, "Are you serious? You know? I didn't come here for that. I'm not a drug addict." I came from Sandy Lake, Ontario, fly-in community. When I first came out, you could just sense that, you know, I was here and I was a different person. Like, I just felt like I didn't belong here and I didn't fit in anywhere. We're stereotyped, you know, as, you know the stereotypes that we have as Aboriginal people. We're lazy, we're alcoholics, drug addicts, you know what I mean? Like, and I just don't feel comfortable, I wouldn't even feel comfortable approaching you because I would probably, I'd assume that you would probably just tell me to, you know, ignore me or, you know, reject me. Because living here, I've faced so much, you know, racism because me being Native, even at the hospital, school, I've always been treated different living here. Like, how would I explain it? A lower class citizen. I felt a lot of shame of who I was. Felt that for years. I was ashamed, embarrassed. I thought, I don't deserve any better. Where the pain and trouble comes from is, I think it was just passed down generation. Like for example, my parents, they were both brought up in residential school, and it seemed to have stripped them of, you know, how to even be a parent. How to, you know, nurture a child, how to hold a child, how to tell them that, you know, you love I love you. Is like, you never see that, you know, in the communities. Nobody, you know, you never see anybody. I think that's what it is with most families. My kids, they don't understand. They have identity issues too, where they're like, you know, I'm trying to wash my face in cold water, and I'm like, why? So I could go white, you know what I mean? Because like they ask me, like, you know, we walk into the immersion, we never, you know, you always see somebody who's passed out, you know, and like laying in a gurney and really sick and intoxicated. And I always tell them, like, this is like, I tell them the reason why, you know, why there's so many people, like, from our people, why the rate is so high, you know, like, you know, separation and drug abuse, alcohol abuse, family violence. You know, we have the highest rates in Canada. I explain to them, you know, this is why things are, because really it stems back to, you know, what happened in the past, residential school. Both my parents went to residential school. They were both crazy. My dad froze to death because he totally gave up on life. I tried saving him. I knew he had given up, and I would ask him, like, I would try to help him, can I break you, beat around the bush and tell me a little bit about residential school. He says, daughter, what do you want to hear? That I was in the and I'm just like, okay, that's the only thing he ever told me. And he drank himself to death, froze outside, and the way they found him, he just literally sat down and just took off his jacket and went to sleep. He gave up on life. My mother getting taken away at 5 years old and not being able to go home till she was 18. No one ever mothering her, nurturing her. She never got that. She was mean sometimes. Had a hard time showing us, well, I think she did a good job. She always told us that she loved us, but what I felt a lot from her was neglect, and how that affected me. I did a lot of things. I lived a hard life. I didn't know who I was. Now I know. I learned through the college. I learned what happened in residential school. I learned the kind of abuse they endured. I learned a lot of things. Like I learned even from that way back about colonization and what happened and how our people, we never even knew what alcohol was, and realizing why, I used to, my mind would boggle, like why is life like this? Why are we like this? Why are we viewed as, like second-class citizens in Canada? But now that I know, life has been much better, and I would like to help, get the truth out there somehow. Life could have been so much different for me, for my parents too.
Help TVO create a better world through the power of learning. Visit TVO.org and make a tax-deductible donation today.